When did they
hate that dog.
When they stopped? Sorry, Juan. When did they stop making Ataris? By the way,
They stopped making Atari games in around '89, I believe.
did they go out of business?
No, not at all. Well, they still have games. They make the Dragon Ball Z games.
No,
They're not out of business. No,
No, I meant
But
why?
in the console wars.
Well,
Console
yeah.
Wars '89, I believe.
That's when they stopped production.
I forget their last game, but yes, they still made little game remakes.
No, I meant consoles. They
Yeah,
stopped
as a
it.
console in '89, but I meant they made remakes at that point.
Okay.
They
Like
made
Double
other-
Dragon.
They made other consoles, but they didn't sell well. They didn't sell well, like the Jaguar, right?
I'm sorry?
They made other consoles, but those didn't sell well.
Well, that's because
Like
of the game
like the
crash,
Jaguar.
and Nintendo took over.
Yes, and that's why Nintendo had the seal of quality, the Nintendo seal.
When it was brought in?
Yeah, so there wouldn't be too much crap.
Oh, you mean
there.
a Nintendo license versus non-Nintendo license?
Yeah,
Yes.
the seal of quality.
Yes, yes. Dude. Alright. But I think it was '89, but I can double check. If you said NES, I could easily answer that with '93. I love this song. Punch Out, nice! Alright, let's talk about, well, I'll go to me now. How I first became a gamer. I was in Toys R Us, and on the promo I saw with my parents, Super Mario Brothers for the NES. And there were two teenagers already up front, and when it was my turn, I reached up because I was only 3 years old back at the time. And within seconds I was getting pretty good at it, and then within moments I was very strong in it, even much better than the teenagers before me. My parents said, I think Sean might like this, so let's get him a Nintendo Entertainment System. And then from there, I've loved games ever since. How did you first get introduced to games, Dan?
My parents gave me Super Nintendo when I was really young.
I remember my first experience.
And I just couldn't get enough playing of Donkey Kong Country. That was a hit.
game.
I also played a couple of baseball games. My aunt had the original Sega, so I forgot the name we used to play, but it would be like you would go. It was like very similar to Super Mario.
Go ahead. I might know it.
It's very similar to Super Mario. They go, you collect coins.
Power-ups?
I think that's
Kid
it.
Chameleon.
Yeah, I think that was the game.
You're a child in an arcade, a cool kid, and you get sucked into the arcades, right?
I think that was it. And
You get power-ups like a samurai, or a charging power, or a tank.
yeah. There
That was
we
it,
go.
Kid Chameleon. I love that game.
And then I stopped playing video games, around my younger ages, and then my parents bought me a Sega Dreamcast for Christmas back in
Nice.
'99.
That was the release
came
year
out.
for America.
Yep,
Japan
and
88. 98, I'm sorry.
I couldn't get enough of it, so I really enjoyed playing Sega Dreamcast. I never really played online. And then
I wish it was stronger.
after Sega kind of fell out in 2001 or so, I kind of just didn't play it anymore. I got the PS2, and then bam! I now with all these new gaming, I said, you know what? Forget the PS2. Got rid of it. Got the Wii. Got rid of the Wii. Now it's the Xbox 360 Slim, and I plan to keep the Xbox for quite some time.
I think this is the perfect time to introduce our gaming paths, because when you're young, you don't have so much money, so you tend to lean towards certain gaming routes. I'll start off. Well, my first console was NES. Then I remember in kindergarten, I got the SNES. I even remember going to the mall with my father, getting the game packed in with Super Mario World. I loved that. Then later on, we got a Game Boy Pocket. I had brothers, so I had to share. Then we got a Game Boy Color, followed by the Nintendo 64. I even remember.
Game Boy, God, do they still make those?
Well, we call it the Nintendo DS now.
Oh,
That's portable gaming. Yeah.
Oh man, I like the game.
We stopped calling it Game Boy with the release of the Nintendo DS in 2004.
I think the PSP is the best one in the market.
Really?
No,
Yep.
well, that's debatable.
Definitely.
Now, I got a Nintendo 64, and I remember in the car with my brothers, and we whispered, so wouldn't it be cool if we got a Nintendo 64? And then my father said, how would you guys like a Nintendo 64? And then we got ecstatic. First experience there. Then we later on got to GameCube.
Oh yeah?
And then within growing up, I was able to play the other games, like Sega Genesis. I remember playing Mortal Kombat.
Sega. Which Sega was a failure? Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn did pass on, but it was not a failure system. But it did pass because not many people trusted Sega.
Yeah, because I was
the
remembering
real failure would be the CD and 32X.
Those were add-ons for the Genesis, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was the CD attachment to its right side, and then the mushroom-looking attachment 32X. That was the failure console. And back in the console wars, it was get the SNES or PlayStation 1, which was already there for you, or get all these attachments. When you get a 32X game, you need the Sega Genesis followed by the 32X. Who wants to deal with that stress? So the other consoles won.
Is the video game right now a hot industry still, or is it
Hot industry? Yes, by all means.
because we have really three people competing?
The three main ones, exactly. And they're huge. Gaming's still strong.
Is there going to be a competition, a fourth one? You think?
You mean Sega?
Not Sega necessarily.
That's what people are pushing for. Sega Dreamcast 2. Like with Keith Apicary. Is there going to be a Dreamcast 2? Oh no, he's doing it for his own show.
I honestly think the Dreamcast 2 could be successful and compete now that they have the technology to go ahead.
I'd say there's one reason why it can be a good jump. Because now we are growing in retro gamers. And people are appreciating the really good consoles that could have been. And the Dreamcast is one of them. Now it's a rarity. That's why I kind of encourage you to get a Dreamcast.
So why not Sega go ahead and try it?
Not enough gamers. Right now, the biggest demographic in America would be FPS games. That's why we're seeing a huge amount. And in Japan, the largest demographic of gamers would be RPG and platformers. That's why we're seeing a lot in Japan being made.
Oh, okay.
It all depends upon demographic, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it would have been nice to see a nice Dreamcast revival, or at least make a Dreamcast Classic Edition.
Because I'd want to see more good platforms and more innovation games come out. Made in America.
Yeah, because some of the games they released are just... Ugh.
We've got a lot of stuff. But I hope America goes in the right direction. And I think we have a few good ones. We have Portal 2.
Definitely.
Beautiful. No, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that European? I'll find out.
The problem with the Dreamcast revival is that three consoles are already fighting over exclusive games, and I think adding a fourth console will not do anything good for them.
But Sega needs to shape up.
Definitely, but I don't think people will buy a Sega for a very few exclusive games.
That's the problem. They need to appeal to the main demographic, especially America.
And not only that, they lost their rights. I mean, Madden, NFL, 2K, they've been competing against each other, and Sega lost the rights to make NFL games.
Really?
Because EA Sports made a deal with the NFL. So Madden,
What?
yes.
Oh.
So Madden can't produce any names, any stadium types as. I mean, if Sega was to release an NFL 2K11 or whatever, they would be probably sued right away because Madden has the rights to those games. They made the deal with the NFL, so Sega had an awesome game system. Check this out: Madden would sell for like $59.99 or $49.99. I apologize.
Yeah.
The NFL 2K5 had better graphics, better features in it. They had a pre-game, halftime show, end show, unbelievable features that set the platform for NFL games. And it was outselling Madden. But then I think EA Sports and NFL got a deal going, and that's when Sega was killed with its sports division as far as the NFL.
But you're saying that Sega will miss out on sports games.
Sega will definitely miss out on sports games. Not basketball, golf, but think about it. The NFL is the biggest sport in America.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They're gonna miss out on that, and it's gonna hurt business. Sega can release all these adventure games, and that's cool, and people will definitely buy them.
But you're saying that
there's a buttload of sports fans out there, and Sega could be missing a big market.
But you're saying that Sega would be very popular if they can truly have a console
Yes.
that appeals to everyone, including the sports lovers.
And you know what? Dreamcast was a very popular console.
It is.
And people still talking about it.
Of course.
If they were to come out with a Sega 2, I think Sega Dreamcast 2, Sega has to be smarter than what they did back in '99. They gotta build something that could play a DVD, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's standard.
That was the nail in the coffin. I
Maybe-
showed you the video too.
Maybe a Blu-ray feature or something,
Definitely.
which is
That'd be
great.
something.
Make
Make that the demand for gamers.
it
sure.
compatible to play with old Dreamcast games.
That we need. That is a must. That is the demand for gamers. We have this expectancy that if one console can do it, we expect it from all consoles.
Look, Xbox can still play
Starting
older
with PlayStation
games
2, I'd say.
from the 360. I can still play games on 2004, 2005 on my Xbox.
But I was told that it's limited, right?
Yes, it's
That's
not,
the downside.
Yeah, because you know what? It's all about making money in this business.
Definitely.
And they want you to buy the new games. Because if no one's going to buy the new games, then what's the point? Right?
I know, but we now have this new expectancy where we expect it to be backwards compatible. If you cannot compete with that, you will fall.
Oh, they can definitely have the technology to do that. But
one of the reasons why Wii is right now #1, and so is PlayStation 2, why it lived for 10 years.
PlayStation 2 is still around. It's still making money.
Well, they stopped. Well, sure it makes money, but they no longer make games. The latest game that to my memory, was Sonic Unleashed. Because Sonic was so desperate, they said, we're going to even release Sonic Unleashed for the PlayStation 2, and, well, Unleashed was a bad game and they failed. I was looking at 10 minutes, 15 minutes of cinema, and the running was just left and right, strafing or panning. I preferred Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 with a free roam movement. Even Sonic Heroes and Shadow...
What about the games that are coming out in the future?
Let's talk about that. That is what's... that's a hot topic on everyone's mind. Or at least on the side.
I personally want to buy Donkey Kong Returns.
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah, for the Wii. That's gonna be a pretty nice one.
Me?
I actually have the Nintendo Power issue covering it. And
I know, I see that. I love it.
So they're making a revival game for...
Donkey Kong Country. Yes.
Really, for the Wii?
Yes.
Ah, alright.
Right now, E3, Nintendo especially, wants to focus on retro revival, because many of the older gamers are missing out because of the influx of casual games.
And also because it's been a while since the Wii started selling, so they pretty much want to keep the console alive.
Has started selling? What do you mean?
I mean, since the console came out.
Oh yeah, 2006.
Yeah, and so I think they want to keep their console
alive, yes,
by reviving their old characters. For
example,
because Kirby
Wii has been around for a while now.
Yes.
4 years.
4 years,
yeah. 5.
And it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to come up with a new game system or a new game console.
Definitely.
Would we say that the economy is ready for a brand new console where millions of buyers are going to get a new console? I say not yet, so that's why we have to keep
next Christmas.
the Wii alive.
Next Christmas.
Yeah, definitely next Christmas, because the 3DS...
Small steps. Yeah, small steps, the 3DS.
Yeah, the 3DS is coming out in March in 2011.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And that's the new handheld that it's going to have 3D effects.
Did you hear about the launch title that's going to be on the 3DS?
Yeah, Kid Icarus.
No.
Zelda...
No, the very first. They wanted to make Metal Gear Solid 3 as the port release.
Oh, yes.
That is something. That's amazing.
Yeah, and the thing about the 3DS is that it's gonna have a lot of third-party support.
Exactly.
It's gonna be Street Fighter on there. There's gonna be Metal Gear Solid.
Mega Man Legends 3, finally.
Yeah.
Legends 2, not as good. Legends 1, terrific. But I want to see Mega Man in 3D, finally.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot of third-party support, so it's gonna be more successful than the DS, probably. But it's gonna be like $300. That's really,
yeah, I saw the price. People are edgy about that, and I thought we've learned our lesson with the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a handheld. It's not a home console.
Exactly.
What is this again?
The 3DS.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me explain the 3DS for our viewers and anyone who doesn't know. The 3DS will be another DS handheld console, but the special features is the screen will be in 3D without the use of 3D glasses, just like the movie innovation with increasing 3D in IMAX. You can be able to move the DS in some games, hopefully maybe all or some, and the screen will move with you. So if you were to tilt your DS left or right, so will the camera and the 3D visuals.
Ah, okay, that's a great concept. You know, games are going to become 3D now. I think they're going to start releasing 3D.
Well, that's
consoles.
what the business thinks.
Because right now movies are in 3D.
Yeah, and
3D is the way to go.
But TVs will have 3D with 3D glasses.
Yeah, they already are coming out with them.
So I think businesses are thinking 3D is now the newest innovation.
Wow, what a long way from playing that Atari video game that I played a few nights ago